So my country people, then we don't look at the events the way they happened for 1950s or 1959 before the plebiscite. We know exactly what will be happen for the plebiscite. Now make we look at what will be happen immediately after the plebiscite. We understand say some people they be vote for join Nigeria. Wait to be their reaction. They be just fold their arms, they should run down and accept the plebiscite results, or did they try to fight back for change the result of the plebiscite? This is the part where we will talk about the Bakweri Molongo petitions. You know, these separatists, the so-called Ambazonians, they don't talk about the Bakweri Molongo, and sometimes they talk as if said the Bakweri Molongo will do something will be great, said they be petition against we joining the French Cameroon, all of those things. Many of those people, the way they ever quote Bakweri Molongo, themselves, they never ever actually see this document. They never ever read what way the Bakweri Molongo, they write them down on paper why they will object the union or the reunification. So this letter will be received on the 21st of March 1961 at the United Nations Trusteeship Council, one of the main organs of the UN itself. Now the petition this from the Bakweri Molongo concerning the Cameroons under United Kingdom administration. So I don't highlight some important parts for this letter. I'm not going to read the whole full text of the letter, now about 7 or 8 pages and the appendix. I go read now just some of the highlighted parts of the letter or the petition for give una a gist and a clear understanding of the reasons why the Bakweri people them as a tribe they no be want we for join the Republic of Cameroon. So it addressed this letter to the Secretary General of the United Nations, and then it go on for talk say, the Bakweris started expressing fears of domination by the stranger population attracted to the division by the fertility of its lands and by the employment opportunities offered in the plantations. These fears were expressed to the United Nations through its Trusteeship Council by the Bakweri Land Committee and to the visiting missions by individual petitions presented, both orally and written. Records now with the Trusteeship Council will show that petitions from Bakweris fully expressive of our fears of domination and vocally outlining the basis of our apprehension for a developing plot by strangers to deprive us of our lands started reaching there as early as 1946. So the first thing where you get for understand now, what be the Bakweri Molongo, for the very first paragraph, they explain them for you, they say, the petition of the Bakweri Molongo, a cultural organization which speaks for and represents the entire Bakweri tribe in the Victoria Division of the Southern Cameroons under United Kingdom trusteeship. So what's the way they explain for you say, the Bakweri people, they don't always they complain about their fears of over domination by what they call them say the strangers or the stranger population. Okay, whenever when I hear they talk about strangers, trust me, they're talking about the Graffiti people. They're talking about the people from Bamenda division and the people from Western region, the Bambilikis. So when I see it tell una say this fear of domination, these petitions and these concerns, they don't start being raised since 1946 by the Bakweri people them. So any person who will come journey come lately for 2000 and something or 1990 something, can they talk about say na Cameroon government, na Francophones, they divide Northwest and Southwest for create division, divide and rule. Explain for me where it is Bakweri Molongo they talk about their petitions, the fear of over domination since 1946. The talk say these concerns were raised both orally and they were written down and they were sent to the Trusteeship Council. So for paragraph 3 for here, the Bakweri Molongo, when at that society where they represent all the Bakweri tribes them, they continue for talk say that the fight by the Bakweris against the threat of almost utter extinction which faced them also had a strong local front. where the threat of extinction. I hope someone know what we mean by extinction. Extinction means that they go wipe you off the surface of this earth, like dinosaurs, like the dodo bird, extinct, gone, never to resurface. That is the fear of the Bakweris. So this paragraph 5 for here, it also be quite interesting, where it talks to the best of our knowledge, nothing was known of what the Cameroon Republic had to offer constitutionally before we went to the polls on February the 11th, 1961, thus justifying our contention that the majority of those who voted for the Cameroon Republic did so sentimentally for tribal reasons and in the Victoria Division to spite and overrun the Bakweris. So Eddie talks the people then for former British Southern Cameroons where they vote for join La République du Cameroon, they be doing so for tribal reasons, and the people the way they inside the Victoria Division where they vote for join French Cameroon, they do so for spite and overrun the Bakweris. For spite means say you do them for provoke them or just deliberately for find palaver for them, and for overrun them where it means say you want for basically defeat them. So paragraph 9 for here, it talks we went to the polls on February the 11th and voted solidly for continued association with Nigeria, as the attached analysis of the votes will show. So he attached an appendix, an attachment to this letter, to this petition, and I will show una at the bottom, at the end of this, where it break down how the people them for the Victoria Division they vote for make the point say the Bakweri tribe they be vote now for continued association with Nigeria. Okay, now the point that way it make for day, and then it also talks we voted this way because we see in the Nigerian Federation a constitutional setup which provides the best safeguards for minority groups like the one we constitute. So they voted to join Nigeria because they know say they be a minority group, and they believe say they could be better protected as a part of Nigeria. So their whole point of voting to join Nigeria had nothing to do with the Republic of Cameroon, but everything to do with running away from the Grafi people. That is their contention, the fear of over-domination by the strangers. Ma tell una, and I go show una evidence. Today for 2025, Southwesterners, they still refer to Grafi people them say strangers. Today for 2025. Anyways, we'll continue. For paragraph 10, they talk say that events that happened before and after the plebiscite, threats and provocative remarks made against us and are still being made, preparations for and perpetration of acts of violence directed against our tribe and political designs, which aim at keeping us out of the local parliament and out of our lands, all go to justify our fears of domination. Everywhere in this letter, you see they are talking about the fear for lose their lands, the fear for be dominated in their own land. Okay, everywhere in this letter, now the petition that way the Bakweri Molongo people they bring them. Paragraph number 11, they talk say that at the plebiscite held on 11th of February 1961, our fears became fully justified in that the threats to domination directed against us by strangers with an eye on landed interests in this division manifested themselves in the pattern of voting. This pattern shows very clearly that this stranger element, which completely excluded Nigerians but included a very large proportion of persons smuggled into the territory from the Cameroon Republic for the purpose of swelling the bloc vote against association with Nigeria, even though no constitution was offered from the Cameroon Republic. They voted solidly for purposes other than those for which the plebiscite was required. So basically, what they talk now say in the petition, it claims say people they come out from the French Republic, the Bamilekes and other people them, they enter inside Southern Cameroon so can't vote, say, may they swell the numbers and for make them, may the territory vote for join Cameroon. But he want for prove am say the indigenous Bakweri people them, they vote now for join Nigeria. And it talks say their fears of over domination it be fully justified because say they get threats to domination directed against them by strangers. And then it talk about landed interests. It talk about their land in Victoria Division. It talk about say they feel threatened and they fear over domination. We continue my country people them. This one when I write them all, I just read for una the words them where they should on down, they write them down, they edit them, and then they prepare the documents and then they release them to the United Nations Secretary General. So paragraph 12, it talks say that since the release of the voting results, we have found enough reasons to believe that we stand the chance of not only being wiped out, in order that our lands may be left at the mercy of selfish and greedy political opportunists, but of even before being wiped out, we will be deprived of those liberties which the United Nations avowedly stands to protect. So for this next statement for here, wait away the Bakweri Molongo the talk now say, they could be wiped out so that their land, their property, it could be left to greedy political opportunists, the strangers, the Bamenda people, the Grafi people, and even before they be wiped out, they could be deprived of those liberties which the United Nations they protect them. So the Bakweri Molongo continue for talk say there are plans which are now being released to us without the slightest restraint of fear to arrange a distribution of strangers within the territory with a view to settling as many in this division as will make it impossible for a true representative of the interest of our people to enter parliament. Our men, women, and children are being beaten up in the villages without the slightest regard for law and order. Fences enclosing native villages are being cut down to provoke disturbances. Arms are being accumulated to await the day we shall all be massacred. An illegal army is being set up by supporters of the governing political party within our division. Our boys and girls in the civil service are being victimized and ill-treated. So now the Bakweri Molongo, then this way they talk, they complain about what the way the KNDP, because when they talk about the government or the governing political party within our division, it talk because FACO, it talk about Boya, the capital of Southern Cameroons, and KNDP of John Foncha, and them be in power at that time. So when they talk about the governing political party, it talk about KNDP. It talk say illegal arms are being set up by supporters of that governing political party within our division. Our boys and girls in the civil service are being victimized and ill-treated. So it accused Najongo Foncha, the Grafi people, the Bamenda people of, creating disturbances, intimidating their villagers, and ill-treating the civil service, ill-treating the backward people the way they did inside government, and all of those things. It's nothing new. So whenever when I hear Anglophones they complain about these things from the Francophones, no say the backward, the Southwesterners have been complaining about it from the Northwesterners in the 1950s and 60s. Remember that. So for paragraph 13, the Bakweri Molongo, they talk say, we do not want another Congo here. And that as a people, we request the United Nations to safeguard our right to live as free unmolested, dignified individuals. We have always encouraged the settlement of strangers within our boundaries. We are not expansionists in our political outlook. Money from the plantations, which have left us with not enough land to allow for subsistence farming, is being used to develop the whole territory, and we have not complained. Today, our lives and property are in danger, and our children are facing the grimmest future that free children in a peaceful community ever had to face. So Eddie talks say the money where Eddie come out from the plantations from CDC, they use them for develop the whole territory for Southern Cameroon, not just the Bakweri tribe. But then the CDC land, it then for their grandpapa, their land. They don't take their grandpapa, their ancestral land, build CDC for them. The CDC the benefit now all people them for that territory, but them when at the Bakweri people them, they don't even get enough land left, even for subsistence farming. We mean say the people the way the future go plant a cocoa for chop, plant beans, cassava, and all of those things. Them now they complain that way they complain to the United Nations. So now it ask the General Assembly for note, say the tribal setup in the Southern Cameroon is not homogeneous. It will therefore be a dangerous thing to compel a minority tribe to be part of a political union which is predominated by a larger tribal group which is likely to oppress them. When I hear no, it ask the General Assembly, so that they ask the General Assembly for note, say the tribal setup of the Southern Cameroons, it not be homogeneous. Homogeneous just means say it not be one and the same all throughout. Say they being a minority and the one set a dangerous thing where it go compel, where it means say it go force them when a minority tribe for be part of a political union which is predominated by a larger tribal group which is likely to oppress them. So it talk point blank, say the Southwesterners, especially the Bakweri, they don't want any political union with people the way they get a larger tribal group, the Bamenda people them, the Grafi people them, where it be more likely, say those Bamenda people, they go oppress them. This letter, remember, say it be written for 1961, 6 days after the plebiscite. And the United Nations, they archive them for una, for understand una history. The political union between Southwesterners and Northwesterners is a no-go area since 1961, before the union. Una, see, where I they bring una the documents them. Make una examine them for ourselves. I no make this up. I no write them down. Now them write them. Now United Nations archive them. The Secretariat. They write them, send them to the Secretary General through the Trusteeship Council. The archive them. Read, understand your history. So for this next paragraph, basically, wait the Bakweri Molongo they talk na say that the request say make the General Assembly it take the mass vote of the indigenous Bakweri of the Victoria divisions at the plebiscite for continued association with Nigeria, may they be respected. So the talk say, make the United Nations respect the Bakweri people, their wishes for join Nigeria. They don't care whether the other people they want for join Cameroon. If they want join Cameroon, may they go join. But for the Bakweri people, them, it talk say, make the General Assembly respect the wish of the Bakweri people, them, say they want join them now Nigeria. So now what that we talk for point number 2 for here. Say the Victoria division should accordingly be reunited with Nigeria. And then for number 3, it talks say the administering authority should be called upon to open discussions with the Federation of Nigeria to affect the desired union. So for point number 4 for here, they recommend and request say make oral hearings be given to the Bakweri Molongo when the future of the Southern Cameroons is being debated to argue the petition. So remember, say now February 1961 where Eddie write this letter. And for April 1961, the United Nations issued on down for discuss the future of the Cameroons under British administration. Now for their way, they come up with Resolution 1608. So it the request say when the next time the United Nations General Assembly is sit for discuss the future of that territory, may they give them oral hearing, may they allow them for come give oral presentations for defend this petition at the United Nations for argue this petition, and which that way it the request. And then when I see am for it and say, then when I see am at the bottom for it say we are your humble petitioners, and then it go on for list the petitioners them. So one day they write their names them, it not be legible, and then but then this from Victoria Northwest constituency, Victoria Southwest constituency, and then all these people, and some of them, their names will be legible like Mrs. B. E. Koo. And of course, una see am say right at the bottom for here, una go see right at the bottom. After all of those names them, you get Mr. Peter Lionga, the president of the Bakweri, Molongo itself. So he sent copies of this petition to all of these people them where he list them for here. The Secretary of State for the Colonies for London, the Prime Minister of the Federation of Nigeria for Lagos, the High Commissioner for the United Kingdom in Nigeria, Lagos, the Commissioner of the Cameroons in Boya, the United Nations Plebiscite Commissioner for Boya, and the United Kingdom Plebiscite Administrator in Boya. Now, official document this and send them to all the right quarters. This document exists. These are historical documents and historical facts. Now, make we look at page 7, the appendix where Abitel Wuna say they actually give a breakdown. So the title for this appendix now, Analysis of Votes Cast at the Plebiscite in Victoria Division. So now say the very first part it do analysis of votes the way they be cast in villages the way now mostly the Bakweri people them they inhabit those communities them small Sopo, Great Sopo, Bonjongo, when I understand. So all of these Lisoka, Moliko 2 and Moya 2 and all of these ones them some of them I don't know how to pronounce the names them Bota and the rest. So when I feel see for they say the people the way they vote for Nigeria they be greater than the people the way they vote for join French Cameroon. In all of these villages, the way they be predominantly Bakweris. When I see the result, right? I give one a typical example for the last two, for Moliko 2 and Moya 2. For Moliko 2, you get 276 for Nigeria and only 71 for Cameroon, and 299 for Nigeria for Moya 2, and only 147 for Cameroon. So the point where the Bakweri Molongo they make an activity, say the indigenous Bakweri people them they vote now for join Nigeria. Whereas the people the way they call them say strangers like the Graphi people them and the people the way they come in from the former French Cameroon now them vote for join Cameroon. So for part B of this appendix, it gives an analysis of the votes the way they be cast at Bakweri villages, the way they get a large stranger population like Boya, of course, when a capital of Victoria, where today na Limbe, Bonalikomba, Mutengene, Ikata, Owe, and Tiko. All of these communities, them according to you, they get a large stranger population. In fact, it means say they get a large Graphi people the way they live for day and Bambeleke them. When I see way to wait them be try for prove them. Now say they get a larger population where they vote for join Cameroon in those villages them and a smaller population where they vote for join Nigeria because this population, these villages them, they get a larger population when are strangers. Now we look at part C of this appendix. So for part C, it do analysis of the votes for the plantations where it get people mainly where they call them say strangers. Make we see the analysis, the breakdown of the votes. You see, I'm say in places that are like Moliwe, like Ekona, you get Bota cities, Tiko cities, Miselele cities, Likomba, E and F, Toleti Estate, Mamu, and all of these areas. And you see the number of people the way they vote for join Nigeria, very few. But the number of people the way they vote for join French Cameroon or La République du Cameroon, as I call them, it be a lot more. Now the point that way, it talk them. So now the end of the document that, and at the point that way, the Bakweri Molongo, they be make them say, the indigenous Bakweri people them, for the villages the way they get mostly the Bakweri dominated populations, they be vote for join Nigeria. And in the villages the way they get a high population of the so-called strangers, they vote for join Cameroon. And for the plantations, then where they get a lot of stranger population, they be vote for join Cameroon. It explain why the Victoria division it be overwhelmingly vote for join Cameroon instead of Nigeria. So it break them down into the tribes, village by village, and looking at the CDC population or the villages the way they've been as CDC plantations and the ones where they be predominated by the strangers, as you call them, the Graffiti people them. So now the analysis that for provide them as evidence to the United Nations General Assembly say the Bakweri people they be vote for join Nigeria. And a recommendation, a request, now say make the General Assembly grant them their wishes for join Nigeria, regardless of what way the overall decision for the plebiscite it be. It want may they divide the territory village by village or tribe by tribe. Any tribe where it be vote for join Nigeria, may they allow them for join. And any other tribe where they be vote for join Cameroon, may they allow them for join. Why? Because the Bakweri people them as a minority group that they fear say they could be over dominated by the Graffiti people then where Ecolam say the strangers. That is the driving force where it be make them the Bakweri people they vote for join Nigeria.